My name is Dane, and I just turned 32 today. As I stared at my phone, the familiar text appeared right on schedule. Sorry, we've been busy. 5 years in a row now. 5 birthdays spent wondering why my family never has time for me. Meanwhile, my sister Sophie is enjoying a beach vacation and showing off her brand new designer purse on Instagram. Both gifts from our parents, of course. I always told myself, family comes first. But today I realized something had to change. I deserve better than empty promises and forgotten celebrations. Before I dive into my story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button if you have ever had to stand up for your own worth in a family that takes you for granted. I built a good life for myself in Boston. My marketing career took off after college, and I now manage campaigns for several national brands. My apartment overlooks the Charles River, and on clear days, the view almost makes me forget the hollow feeling that surfaces whenever family comes to mind. Growing up, our household had clear but unspoken roles. My father, William, owns a moderately successful construction supply company that has been in our family for 2 generations. He always dreamed of passing it down to his children, though in reality, this meant passing it down to Sophie. My mother, Patricia, works as an interior designer, bringing elegance to wealthy homes while our own family dynamics remained messy and unresolved. Then there is Sophie, my younger sister by 6 years. Sophie was 26 now, and from the moment she was born, she became the undisputed star of our family constellation. Her birth coincided with a significant expansion of my father's business, and my parents took this as some kind of sign. She brings good luck, my father would say, half joking but fully believing it. I was never mistreated. Not in any way that would make for a more dramatic story. The neglect was subtle, built on a foundation of comparison and diminished expectations. My straight A's were met with nods and quick good jobs, while Sophie's passing grades warranted celebrations and expensive rewards. When I made the honor roll 4 years straight in high school, my father briefly looked up from his newspaper and said, "That is what we expect from you, Dane." When Sophie managed to get on it for a single semester, my parents took the entire family to Disney World. After college, I secured a job at a respected marketing firm without connections or help. I paid off my student loans aggressively, living with 3 roommates in a cramped apartment for 4 years to do so. Meanwhile, Sophie bounced between 5 different college majors before settling on communications, only to drop out with a semester left. My parents paid her full tuition without complaint and bought her a car to help her get back on her feet. Sophie rarely kept a job for more than 6 months. She would grow bored or encounter a boss who just did not understand her potential. Each employment gap was subsidized by our parents, who always had a spare room and an open checkbook for their daughter. When I asked for a small loan during a company downsizing that left me temporarily unemployed, my father suggested I should have been more careful with my money and advised me to look into unemployment benefits. The pattern became clearer as we entered adulthood. My parents never missed Sophie's art shows. Even the phase when she splattered paint on canvas and called it emotional cartography. They flew across the country when she had a 10-minute speaking role in a community theater production. Yet they had missed my college graduation because Sophie had a cold and needed her mother. They skipped my company award ceremony because it was the same weekend as Sophie's boyfriend's birthday party. Despite everything, I maintained contact. I called home every Sunday. I remembered every birthday and anniversary with thoughtful gifts. I asked about their lives and listened to long stories about Sophie's latest ventures. I visited during holidays, bringing wine and engaging in conversation with relatives who inevitably asked why I was still single or when I would find a real career instead of just marketing. The neglect followed a recognizable cycle. I would reach out, make plans, express my needs clearly, and then watch as those plans evaporated when Sophie required attention. My requests for quality time were perpetually placed on a waiting list that never seemed to advance. My 28th birthday marked the first time they did not even pretend to care. I had planned a small dinner at my favorite restaurant, reserved a table for 4, and sent invitations a month in advance. My parents and Sophie all confirmed, and I spent weeks looking forward to having them visit my new city. The morning of my birthday, I cleaned my apartment thoroughly in case they wanted to see it after dinner. I bought a bottle of my father's favorite whiskey, and made sure to get reservations at a restaurant that served my mother's preferred gluten-free options. I even researched local events that might interest Sophie for the following day. 3 hours before dinner, as I was getting dressed, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my mother. "Sorry, we have been busy with work. Cannot make it tonight. We'll call you tomorrow. Happy birthday." No explanation, no rescheduling, no phone call. Just a text message sent to the group chat that included Sophie, who did not bother to add her own birthday wishes. I sat on the edge of my bed, fully dressed with nowhere to go. I called the restaurant and canceled the reservation for 4. Too embarrassed to say my family had bailed. I considered going alone but could not bear the pitying looks from servers when they realized I was celebrating my birthday by myself. That night, as I ordered takeout and ate it in silence, I made the mistake of checking Instagram. There was my entire family, shopping at an upscale mall near our hometown. My mother had posted photos of Sophie trying on outfits for her upcoming trip to Miami, a graduation gift, despite the fact that she had not actually graduated. "Shopping day with my girl." Read the caption. Time-stamped just 30 minutes after the cancellation text. That was the first, "Sorry, we have been busy" birthday. I did not know then that it would become an annual tradition. After the first birthday disappointment, I tried to rationalize their behavior. Perhaps there was an emergency they could not disclose. Maybe they felt guilty and did not know how to make it right. I convinced myself that next year would be different. My 29th birthday fell on a Saturday. Perfect for family to visit without taking time off work. I sent gentle reminders 2 months, 1 month, and 1 week before the date. Everyone confirmed again, and my mother even asked about my apartment's guest room dimensions so they could bring the right sheets. I spent hours creating a weekend itinerary. I found a food festival my foodie father would love. Located a boutique my mother had mentioned wanting to visit. And even secured tickets to a concert by a band Sophie had been talking about. I wanted to make it easy for them to say yes, to remove any friction that might lead to another cancellation. The night before my birthday, I prepared the guest room, bought groceries for a special breakfast, and chilled a bottle of champagne. I went to sleep feeling hopeful, excited to finally have the birthday celebration I had been craving. The cancellation came via text at 7:43 a.m. on my birthday. "Something came up with your father's business. Rain check? We will make it up to you soon. Promise. Love you." My mother included a gif of a birthday cake. I called immediately, but the call went to voicemail. I tried my father next, then Sophie. No answers. I sent messages asking what happened, and if everyone was okay. Hours passed without response. That evening, a college friend called to wish me happy birthday and mentioned seeing my family's social media posts from the day. With a growing sense of dread, I checked Facebook. There they were, at the grand opening of a new restaurant in their neighborhood. Sophie had checked in, tagging both parents, with the caption, "Family time." At the hottest new spot in town, the photos showed them laughing, raising glasses, celebrating. My mother wore her special occasion earrings. My father had on his favorite sports coat, the one he saves for important client dinners. And Sophie beamed in a new dress, surrounded by friends I did not recognize. I confronted them with the evidence the next day. My mother claimed they had stopped by the restaurant opening only briefly, that the business emergency had resolved itself later in the day, but by then they assumed it was too late to drive to Boston. My father said I was being sensitive and reminded me that I was a grown man now, not a kid who needs birthday parties. Sophie did not respond to my messages at all. They promised to visit the following weekend instead. They never came. When I brought it up on our next Sunday call, my mother said, "We cannot keep dwelling on the past. Dane, we are busy people." My 30th birthday was supposed to be different. Milestone birthdays matter, I told myself. I invited them 3 months in advance, making it clear how important their presence was to me. I would really love to have my family with me when I turn 30. I wrote in the email invitation. It would mean everything to me. All 3 responded with enthusiasm. My father even called to say they had booked hotel rooms already, not wanting to impose on my space. I felt a surge of hope that maybe this time, the pattern would break. I requested the day off work and the day after, planning to spend quality time with them. I researched restaurants that required deposits to secure reservations, thinking this might solidify their commitment. I chose a steakhouse my father had mentioned, wanting to try and paid $200 to hold a private dining room. On the morning of my 30th birthday, I woke to another text message. This one came from my father. Emergency at work. Big client issue. Cannot make it today. Sophie also has her graduation ceremony for her certificate program. Your mother needs to attend that. Sorry, son. We'll call tonight. I stared at my phone in disbelief. Sophie's certificate program graduation had not been mentioned once during our planning. A quick check of social media revealed Sophie had been enrolled in a 6-week photography course at the local community center. Its completion ceremony had been on the calendar for months, clearly overlapping with my birthday weekend. They had known all along. They had never planned to come. That night, no call came. Instead, my Instagram feed filled with photos from Sophie's graduation. My parents had rented out a local wine bar for a private celebration. They posed proudly beside Sophie, who held up her certificate in one hand and a glass of champagne in the other. 20 people surrounded them, family, friends, and relatives who had traveled from out of state to attend. My Aunt Diana, who lives a 3-hour flight away, was there smiling in the front row. For my 31st birthday, I drastically lowered my expectations. I did not ask for a visit. I did not plan a dinner. I simply hoped for a phone call, a real conversation rather than a text message. I spent the day with friends, had a nice lunch, opened a few presents, and tried not to check my phone every few minutes. At 4:13 p.m., the now familiar message appeared. Happy birthday, Dane. Sorry, we have been swamped today. Your father is finalizing a big contract and Sophie had a job interview. We'll try to call this weekend. Love you. No call came that weekend, or the next. 2 weeks later, I discovered why they had been too busy to make a simple birthday call. My mother had posted an album titled Surprise Family Vacation. The timestamps showed they had been at a beach resort in Florida on my birthday. The photos captured the three of them parasailing, dining at oceanfront restaurants, and lounging by infinity pools. In one particularly painful image, Sophie posed with a brand new Louis Vuitton handbag, captioned Best Parents Ever. Thank you for always supporting me, even when times get tough. The post explained that the vacation and gift were to help Sophie recover from the stress of job hunting after being let go from her administrative position the month before. I closed my laptop and sat in the dark of my apartment for hours. Each year, I told myself I would stop expecting more, that I would protect my heart from their neglect. And each year, I found new depths of pain I did not know existed. As my 32nd birthday approached, I made a promise to myself. I would expect nothing. Absolutely nothing. No calls, no texts, no acknowledgement. That way, I could not be disappointed. But somewhere deep inside, a small, stubborn flame of hope refused to be extinguished. The week before my 32nd birthday, I buried myself in work. I volunteered for extra projects, scheduled meetings during lunch hours, and brought files home each evening. If I kept busy enough, perhaps I would forget what was coming. My best friend Alex saw through the strategy immediately. During our weekly basketball game, he cornered me by the water cooler. You are doing that thing again, he said, passing me a towel. The thing where you pretend your birthday is not happening. I am not pretending anything, I replied, wiping sweat from my face. I am just busy. Alex had been witness to each year's disappointment. He had brought over beers and pizza after the shopping mall incident. He had helped me cancel the expensive steakhouse reservation when I turned 30. He knew the pattern better than anyone. Call them, he suggested. Remind them it is coming up. Maybe this year will be different. I laughed, but the sound held no humor. That is what I tell myself every year. Just a quick call, Alex persisted. Not to ask for anything. Just to say hi, and casually mention the date. Against my better judgment, I followed his advice. That evening, I called my mother. She answered on the 4th ring, sounding distracted. Dane! What a surprise! Everything okay? This was our new normal. My calls were assumed to be emergency notifications rather than regular communication. Everything is fine, Mom. Just checking in. We talked for exactly 7 minutes. She mentioned father's golf game, a new client, and Sophie's latest job prospect. I listened and made appropriate noises of interest. Before ending the call, I said as casually as possible, "By the way, my birthday is next Tuesday." "Oh," my mother's voice brightened. "That is right. 32. Correct? We will definitely do something special this year. I will talk to your father and Sophie and get back to you." Hope flickered despite my determination to keep it extinguished. Maybe this year would indeed be different. Tuesday arrived. My birthday. I woke early, made coffee, and checked my phone. No messages yet. But it was only 6:30 a.m. I told myself not to check again until noon. I failed. By 9 a.m., I had checked 17 times. Nothing. At noon, I received birthday messages from Alex, 3 college friends, 2 coworkers, and my elderly neighbor who barely knew me but faithfully sent birthday cards to everyone in the building. Nothing from family. At 2:37 p.m., my phone finally buzzed with a message from the family group chat. My heart raced as I opened it. "Happy birthday, Dane. Sorry we have been busy with Sophie's new job interview prep. She has a big opportunity with a marketing firm, your field. Hoping it works out. We'll call you soon to catch up. Love, Mom and Dad." My throat tightened. My field. As if the connection should make their absence more acceptable. As if mentioning marketing somehow included me in their day. I placed my phone face down on my desk and tried to focus on work. My eyes kept drifting to the clock. By 5 p.m., there had been no follow-up. No call. No individual message from Sophie. That evening, Alex came over with takeout and a small cake. "You should not be alone," he said, letting himself in with the spare key I had given him years ago. We ate, played video games, and carefully avoided talking about my family. Around 9 p.m., Alex went to the kitchen for beers while I checked my email. "You should not look at your phone," he called from the other room. Something in his voice made me freeze. Why not? Just maybe take a break from social media tonight. Of course, his warning had the opposite effect. I immediately opened Instagram. And there it was. My mother had posted 30 minutes earlier. A family photo on a white sand beach. My father, mother, and Sophie stood with their arms around each other, ocean waves lapping at their feet, sunglasses perched on tanned faces. The caption read, "Surprise family vacation. Nothing better than quality time with those you love most." I scrolled through the album. 12 photos. Breakfast on an oceanfront balcony. My father and Sophie, parasailing. My mother lounging by an infinity pool. Sophie showing off a sunset view from what appeared to be an expensive resort restaurant. And then, the final photo. Sophie holding up a cream-colored leather purse, beaming with delight. The caption, "Thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being my biggest supporters. Love my new purse and love you both for believing in me. Even when the job hunt gets tough." I recognized the purse. It was a Chanel flap bag, worth thousands of dollars. I knew the price because Sophie had sent me a link to it 3 months ago, asking if I would chip in for her birthday. I had sent her a $100 gift card instead, which she had never acknowledged receiving. Something inside me broke. Not slowly, not partially, but completely and irrevocably. The phone slipped from my fingers and clattered on the hardwood floor. I did not pick it up. Alex appeared in the doorway, beers in hand. His expression told me he had already seen the posts. "Dane, do not say anything," I whispered. My voice sounded strange, as if it belonged to someone else. "Please do not say anything at all." He set the beers down and sat beside me on the couch. We stayed like that for nearly an hour, in silence. Finally, he spoke. "You know this is not about you, right? This is about them and their issues. Feels pretty personal from where I am sitting." "It is," he agreed. "But their behavior says more about their limitations than your worth." I laughed bitterly. 5 years, Alex. 5 birthdays in a row, with the exact same message. "Sorry we are busy." Except they are never too busy for Sophie. "Have you ever told them how this makes you feel?" "Every way but skywriting," I said. I have called, texted, emailed. I have been direct. I have been subtle. I have asked for what I need. Nothing changes. Alex took a long swallow of his beer, then said the words that would change everything. Maybe it is time to stop asking and start showing. What do you mean? I mean, maybe it is time to set some boundaries. Real ones. Like what? Angry phone calls? Confrontation? He shook his head. Number. The opposite. Complete disconnection. Show them what life is like without you in it. The idea was terrifying and liberating all at once. Cut them off. Stop the cycle of hope and disappointment. Create distance that could not be crossed with a casual text message or empty promise. I do not know if I can do that, I admitted. You do not have to decide tonight, Alex said. Just think about it. But as he left my apartment an hour later, I already knew what I needed to do. I spent the night staring at my ceiling, mentally rehearsing the steps I would take. By morning, my path was clear. The cycle of neglect had to end, and I was the only one who could break it. I woke the morning after my birthday with swollen eyes but clear resolve. I had allowed this pattern to continue for too long, consistently hoping that next time would be different, that my family would finally see me. They never did. Alex arrived at 9 a.m. with coffee and bagels. You look terrible, he said cheerfully, handing me a cup. Thanks. I feel worse. Did you sleep at all? Maybe an hour, I admitted. But I made a decision. His expression grew serious. The nuclear option? I nodded. Complete disconnection. At least for now. What does that look like for you? I had thought this through carefully. Blocking their numbers. Filtering their emails to a folder I will not check. Unfollowing and blocking on social media. Removing myself from the family group chat. Alex whistled. That is pretty thorough. It has to be, I said. Otherwise, I will weaken and fall back into the same pattern. How can I help? His immediate support nearly broke me. This was what family should feel like, someone who asked how to help, rather than making you beg for basic consideration. Can you stay while I do it? I just need someone here so I actually go through with it. For the next hour, Alex sat beside me as I methodically severed each connection to my family. I blocked their phone numbers on my cell phone. I created email filters that would automatically direct any message from their addresses to a separate folder. I unfollowed, then blocked them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The social media part was the hardest. Each profile showed me glimpses of their continuing vacation, the beach breakfast my mother had likely prepared while I was blocking her number, a selfie of Sophie with her new purse at what appeared to be a spa. Each image reinforced that I was making the right decision. But that did not make it hurt any less. Should I send them something? I asked Alex when we were nearly done. An explanation? He considered this. If you feel you need to, keep it brief. Do not justify or over-explain. Just state the facts. I drafted a short email to all three of them. I need space and time away from this relationship. Please respect my boundaries by not attempting to contact me. I will reach out when, if I am ready. Dane. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Now what? I asked, feeling suddenly untethered. Now we get lunch, Alex said simply. And then you live your life without constantly checking your phone for messages that never come. The first few days of disconnection felt surprisingly liberating. I went to work, came home, and did not immediately check for family messages or social media updates. I slept better. I focused more easily on conversations and tasks. By the end of the week, however, the doubt began to creep in. Was I overreacting? Was I being childish, as my father would surely claim? Should I have tried one more conversation, one more explanation of my feelings? I shared these thoughts with Jamie, a coworker who had become a close friend over the past year. Let me get this straight, she said as we ate lunch in the office break room. They have forgotten or canceled on your birthday 5 years running. They spend thousands on your sister while telling you to check into unemployment benefits when you needed help. They literally went on a beach vacation on your birthday without telling you, then posted pictures for you to find. And you are worried you are overreacting? When she put it that way, my doubt receded. The problem, Jamie continued, is that you have been trained to question your own needs and feelings. That is what happens in families with such obvious favoritism. I just keep thinking I should have tried harder to talk it out. From what you have told me, you have been trying to talk it out for years. Sometimes, you have to show people how to treat you, not tell them. The following Saturday, Alex and Jamie surprised me by organizing a belated birthday gathering at my favorite brewery. They had invited several other friends, including my basketball teammates and book club members. Someone had ordered a cake with Happy Independence Day written on it. A joke that made me laugh despite the lingering sadness. To boundaries, Alex toasted, raising his glass. To chosen family, Jamie added. The warmth of that evening stayed with me as I began to build a life not centered around waiting for my family's approval. I joined a local book club that met every other Tuesday. I signed up for cooking classes on Thursday evenings. I reconnected with college friends I had lost touch with during years of focusing on my family's needs. 2 weeks into my disconnection, the first tests of my resolve appeared. Ryan, a mutual friend from my hometown, texted to say my parents had been asking about me. They said they have been trying to reach you, he wrote. Is everything okay? I thanked him for his concern but did not explain the situation. Everything is fine. Just taking some personal time. Later that week, my Aunt Barbara emailed. Subject line: Your parents are worried sick. The message was short. Whatever is going on, family should work it out together. Call your mother. I did not respond. Then came the message that truly tested my resolve. My cousin Mark, who I had always been close with, called on a Sunday morning. Dane, what is going on? Your mom is telling everyone you have had some kind of breakdown. I have not had a breakdown, I said calmly. I have set a boundary. She says you sent some cryptic email and then disappeared. They are really worried. Did she mention that they went on vacation for my birthday without telling me? Or that they have canceled on me 5 years in a row? Or that they bought Sophie a purse worth thousands while telling me I am on my own financially? A pause. No. She left that part out. I thought she might have. By the third week, I was settling into my new normal when my building manager called. Mr. Barrett, there are some people in the lobby asking for you. They say they are your family. Should I send them up? My heart raced. They were here. In Boston. At my building. No, I said after a moment. Please do not send them up. Tell them I am not available. They seem pretty insistent, he said uncomfortably. The lady is crying. The guilt hit hard and fast. My mother was crying in my lobby. Part of me wanted to rush downstairs, to apologize, to return to the familiar pattern of putting their feelings above my own. Instead, I took a deep breath and repeated, I am not available. If they will not leave, please call security. I hung up and immediately texted Alex. They are here. At my building. His response came seconds later. Do not open the door. I am on my way. For the next 30 minutes, I paced my apartment, ignoring the buzzing of the intercom. Eventually, it stopped. My phone showed a notification from the building's security app. Visitors escorted from property at tenant's request. They had come all this way, and I had refused to see them. The guilt was overwhelming, but beneath it was something else. Something unfamiliar, but essential. Self-respect. The day after I refused to see my family at my building, the messages began. Having blocked their regular numbers, they started texting from unknown phones, numbers, friends, neighbors, possibly burner phones purchased just to reach me. Dane, this is your mother. What is going on? We are worried about you. Son, this behavior is unacceptable. Call immediately. Dad, are you seriously blocking us? Real mature, bro. Sophie, I blocked each new number as it appeared. By the end of the day, I had blocked 17 different numbers. The messages escalated from confusion to anger to accusations. Your father is considering calling the police for a welfare check. Is this about your birthday? You are 32 years old, not 12. If you are having mental health issues, we can help you find someone to talk to. That last one, from my mother, nearly broke my resolve. The implication that my boundary setting must be a symptom of mental illness rather than a healthy response to years of neglect was both infuriating and deeply sad. The emails came next, bypassing my filters by using new addresses I had not blocked. My mother's message had the subject line, "Please read, emergency." The content was anything but an emergency. Dane, I do not understand what has gotten into you. This silent treatment is childish and hurtful. We came all the way to Boston to see you, and you would not even come downstairs. Is this some kind of delayed rebellion phase? Please call us. We love you. My father was more direct. Your behavior is disrespectful and concerning. Whatever issue you think you have with this family, this is not how adults handle conflict. Call your mother immediately. She is beside herself with worry. Sophie's email was the most revealing. You have always been jealous of my relationship with Mom and Dad, always trying to make everything about you. Now you are punishing everyone because you want more attention? Grow up, Dane. Not everything is about you. I saved the emails but did not respond. Each message confirmed what I had begun to suspect. They had no idea why I had disconnected. Despite years of explaining my feelings, despite the clear pattern of neglect, they genuinely could not see their role in the breakdown of our relationship. A week after their surprise visit, my coworker Marcus approached my desk with an uncomfortable expression. Hey, Dane. Weird question, but did your parents call the office asking for you? My stomach dropped. What? Reception just transferred a call to me. A woman saying she is your mother. She wanted to know if you have been coming to work, if you seemed okay. I told her I could not discuss employees, but that she should contact HR if she has concerns. I am so sorry, I said, mortified. I will make sure it does not happen again. No worries, Marcus said. Family stuff can be complicated. That afternoon, I received an email from our HR director asking me to stop by her office. My hand shook as I knocked on her door. Dane, come in, she said warmly. Nothing to worry about. Just wanted to check in. She explained that my mother had called claiming to be worried about my mental health, suggesting I might be a danger to myself or others. HR had a legal obligation to follow up on such claims. Of course, I can see you are perfectly fine, she said, but I wanted you to know about the call. I explained that I was dealing with some family boundary issues and apologized for the disruption. No need to apologize, she said. Just document the calls if they continue. If this escalates to harassment, we may need to take steps to protect you and the workplace. The embarrassment of having my family drama spill into my professional life was a new low. That evening, I documented every contact attempt in a spreadsheet, creating a clear record of their escalating behavior. 2 days later, my father took things a step further. He apparently called every mutual friend and extended family member, telling them I had cut off contact without explanation and might be having a nervous breakdown. The calls and texts poured in. Dane, your father says you are not speaking to the family. What is going on? Hey, cousin, are you okay? Uncle William is really worried about you. Your dad called me crying. Dane, crying. Whatever this is, please work it out. Most painful was the call from my grandmother, my father's mother, who had always been kind to me. Dane, dear, your father tells me you have cut the family off. He says you would not even see them when they came to your apartment. Grandma, it is complicated, I began. Family is never too complicated to work through, she said firmly. William says you sent a very cold email with no explanation. Did he mention that they forgot my birthday 5 years in a row? Or that they were on vacation with Sophie when I turned 32 but told me they were busy with her job interview? Silence. Then, no. He did not mention that part. There is a lot he is not telling you, Grandma. After we hung up, I realized I had done something important. I had advocated for myself, told my side of the story. The relief was immediate. My resolve strengthened as I realized my family was doing exactly what they had always done, controlling the narrative, making themselves the victims, and expecting me to fall in line. For the first time, I was refusing to play my assigned role. 3 weeks after I set my boundary, Sophie escalated the situation dramatically. She apparently went through old conversations and found contact information for several of my clients. She reached out to them directly, claiming to be concerned about my well-being and suggesting they might want to check in on my work given my unstable behavior. Fortunately, my relationships with my clients were strong enough that they forwarded me her messages rather than taking them seriously. Still, the violation was stunning. She had actively tried to damage my career because I had stopped accepting family mistreatment. That evening, I received a text from yet another unknown number. This one was from my father, and unlike the others, It did not begin with confusion or concern. It went straight to threats. Your continued silence is creating serious problems for this family. Your mother cannot sleep. Sophie is upset, and I am quickly losing patience. If you continue this childish behavior, we will have to reconsider your place in this family permanently. Is that what you want? To be cut out of the will, the family business, everything? Think carefully about your next move, son. I stared at the message for a long time. My place in the family had always been conditional, but never had the condition been stated so explicitly. Accept mistreatment, or lose everything. For the first time since setting my boundary, I felt not guilt, but clarity. This was exactly why I had needed distance. I forwarded the message to Alex with the caption, "In case you wondered if I was making the right decision." His response was immediate. "Holy shit. Frame this message. Look at it whenever you doubt yourself." The following Saturday afternoon, just as I was returning from a run, my phone rang with a call from the building security desk. "Mr. Barrett, your family is here again. All three of them. They are demanding to be let up, saying it is an emergency family matter." "The woman is quite upset, sir." I closed my eyes, heart pounding. "I will come down." It was time to face them directly. The elevator ride to the lobby felt endless. I had imagined this confrontation many times over the past month, rehearsing what I would say, how I would remain calm. Now that the moment had arrived, all my prepared speeches evaporated. When the doors opened, I saw them immediately. My father standing rigidly by the security desk. My mother perched on the edge of a lobby chair looking tearful. And Sophie pacing with her arms crossed. They all turned at once when they spotted me. "Dane!" My mother rushed forward, arms outstretched. I stepped back, maintaining distance. "Let us talk somewhere private." The security guard, who had clearly been dealing with them for some time, looked relieved. "The conference room is available, Mr. Barrett." "Thank you. We will only need a few minutes." My father scoffed at this, but followed as I led them to the small glass-walled room off the lobby. Once inside, I closed the door and remained standing near the exit. "Finally," my father said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "A month of silence, and now you will only need a few minutes?" My mother's approach was softer but no less manipulative. "Honey, we have been so worried. Not answering calls, blocking us on everything. It is not like you." Sophie stood slightly behind them, her expression a mixture of irritation and something else. Satisfaction? She was enjoying this drama. "Why did you come here?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Why did we come?" My father's volume increased. "Because our son has lost his mind and cut off his entire family without explanation. I sent an email explaining that I needed space." "That was not an explanation," my mother said. "That was a declaration. We deserve to know what this is all about." I looked at each of them carefully. These people who shared my blood but who had consistently shown me I was secondary in their affections. "You really do not know?" I asked. "After 5 years of the exact same pattern, you genuinely have no idea why I might need distance." My father waved his hand dismissively. "If this is about your birthday, you are acting like a child. Adults do not throw tantrums over birthday parties." "This is not about a party," I said quietly. "This is about a pattern of behavior that has made it clear where I stand in this family." "What pattern?" my mother asked, her voice rising. "We have always supported you." "Have you? When was the last time you showed up for something important to me? When was the last time you remembered my birthday without a last-minute text claiming you were busy? When was the last time you invested in my life the way you invest in Sophie's?" Sophie stepped forward now, eyes narrowing. "Oh, so this is about me? You are jealous because Mom and Dad love me?" "They love both of us," I said. "But they show up for you. They remember your important days. They buy you expensive gifts and take you on vacations. They tell you they are proud of you." "Because Sophie needs more support," my mother interjected. "You have always been so independent, so capable." "I became independent because I had to be," I countered. "But that does not mean I do not need my family." My father crossed his arms. "This is ridiculous. We came all this way because you have been acting erratically. And now we find out It is just because you are counting gifts like a ledger? Let me be specific, I said, feeling a strange calm descend. 5 years ago, you canceled my birthday dinner with a text saying you were busy. I later saw on social media that you were shopping with Sophie that same day. My mother opened her mouth to speak, but I continued. The next year, you promised to visit, then canceled morning of, claiming a business emergency. That night, you were at a restaurant, opening with Sophie. I turned to my father. When I turned 30, you canceled because of a client issue and Sophie's certificate ceremony. The ceremony for a 6-week photography course that had been scheduled for months. I looked at Sophie now. Last year, none of you called on my birthday because you were all on a surprise beach vacation that no one told me about. The same day, you posted photos of a designer purse our parents bought you to help with the stress of job hunting. The room fell silent. My mother looked at the floor. My father's jaw tightened. Only Sophie seemed unmoved. So what? She finally said. Parents are allowed to help their children differently based on need. Sophie, my mother warned. No, she is right, I said. Parents can support their children differently. But consistently forgetting one child while celebrating the other is not support. It is favoritism. We have never forgotten you, my father insisted. Really? Where were you on my 32nd birthday 3 weeks ago? My mother at least had the grace to look embarrassed. We were busy with Sophie's job interview. You were in Florida, I corrected. On a beach vacation you surprised Sophie with. She posted the photos while you were texting me that you were busy. My father shifted strategies. We work hard for our money, Dane. We can spend it how we choose. Sophie has struggled more, needed more help. This is not about money, I said. This is about time, attention, and basic consideration. Did it ever occur to you that Sophie struggles precisely because you have always rushed in to save her? That maybe I succeeded because I had to? Sophie laughed sharply. Oh, please. You are just jealous because Mom and Dad see my potential. They know I am the one who will carry on the family legacy. Something in her tone made me pause. What family legacy? My father shot Sophie a warning look, but she continued, a cruel smile playing at her lips. The family business, obviously. Dad is grooming me to take over when he retires. Why do you think they invest so much in me? I am the future of Barrett Construction Supplies. The revelation should have hurt, but instead it clarified everything. My father had never once mentioned wanting me in the business. In fact, he had actively discouraged my interest in it during college. Is that true? I asked him directly. My father hesitated, then straightened his shoulders. Sophie has shown more interest in the company. I expressed interest multiple times in college. You told me to focus on my own path because you were not right for it, he said flatly. Sophie understands the business in a way you never did. Sophie has never held a job for more than 6 months, I pointed out. She has no business experience at all. She has instinct, my father insisted, and loyalty to the family. The implication was clear. I was disloyal for setting boundaries. So all this, I gestured between us. The consistent neglect, the broken promises, the lies about being busy when you were actually with Sophie, has been because you decided years ago that she was the worthy successor and I was not. We never neglected you, my mother began, but my father interrupted. If you want to be part of this family, Dane, you need to accept your place in it. Sophie will take over the business. That decision is made. If you cannot support that and stop this jealous behavior, you will find yourself written out of everything. Is that what you want? The threat hung in the air between us. In the past, it would have devastated me. Now, it only confirmed what I already knew. I do not want your money, I said quietly. I never did. I wanted your respect, your time, your consideration. The things you have always given Sophie freely, but made me earn again and again. We do respect you, my mother insisted weakly. No. I shook my head. You do not. If you did, you would not have lied to me for years. You would not have consistently broken promises. You would not be threatening to disinherit me for asking to be treated with basic decency. Sophie stepped forward, her face flushed with anger. You are ruining everything. Mom has been crying for weeks because of your selfish behavior. Dad is stressed and distracted at work. All because you cannot handle that they love me more." The room went silent. My mother gasped. My father closed his eyes briefly. "Sophie," my mother whispered, "we do not love you more." But the truth had been spoken aloud at last. They did love her more, had always loved her more, and on some level, all of us knew it. "I think we are done here," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "If you walk away from this conversation," my father said, "if you continue this estrangement, do not expect to be welcomed back easily." I looked at him, this man whose approval I had sought for decades, and felt the last chains of that need falling away. "I am not walking away from a conversation," I said. "I am walking away from a pattern. When you are ready to establish a relationship based on mutual respect rather than obligation and favoritism, you know how to reach me." "This is not over," Sophie hissed as I turned toward the door. "You will regret this. When Dad updates his will, when you realize what you have thrown away, you will come crawling back." I paused with my hand on the doorknob. "That is the difference between us, Sophie. You see family as something to extract value from. I see it as something that should add value to everyone's life. Right now, this family dynamic is not adding value to mine." I left them there, my father rigid with anger, my mother quietly crying, and Sophie seething with indignation. As I rode the elevator back to my apartment, I expected to feel grief, guilt, even regret. Instead, I felt something unexpected: peace. The days following the confrontation were strangely quiet. No barrage of texts from unknown numbers. No emails bypassing my filters. No calls to my workplace. My family had finally heard me, even if they had not understood or accepted my perspective. The silence brought both relief and emptiness. For so long, my emotional life had revolved around my family's approval, seeking it, being disappointed by its absence, recovering, and trying again. Without that cycle consuming my energy, I found myself with an unfamiliar abundance of emotional space. Some days, the emptiness felt like freedom. Other days, it felt like loss. I missed the family I had always wanted them to be. The family I had convinced myself they could become if I just tried hard enough, explained clearly enough, loved faithfully enough. 2 weeks after the confrontation, I did something I should have done years earlier. I made an appointment with a therapist. Dr. Karen Chen specialized in family relationship issues. And from our first session, she helped me see patterns I had been blind to. "What you are describing," she said during our second meeting, "is a classic golden child scapegoat dynamic. Your sister was established as the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, whose needs were paramount. You became the scapegoat, the one held to higher standards, whose achievements were expected rather than celebrated, whose needs were secondary. But they never abused me," I clarified. "They provided for me, paid for my education." "Emotional neglect does not have to include overt abuse to be harmful," she explained. "Consistently prioritizing one child over another, breaking promises repeatedly, gaslighting you about your legitimate feelings. These are forms of emotional injury that accumulate over time." Over the following weeks, Dr. Chen helped me identify the ways this family dynamic had shaped my personality and relationships. My tendency to overachieve, but still feel inadequate. My habit of minimizing my own needs, while anticipating everyone else's. My fear of asking directly for what I wanted. "These are adaptive behaviors," she explained. "They helped you survive in your family system. But now, they are holding you back from building healthy relationships and recognizing your own worth." Parallel to the therapy work, I began reclaiming parts of myself I had set aside in my quest for family approval. I dusted off my guitar, which had sat untouched in its case for years. In college, I had played regularly, even written a few songs. But my father's dismissive comments about hobby careers had led me to focus exclusively on practical pursuits. I joined a weekend hiking group, rediscovering my love of outdoor adventure. I took a creative writing workshop, allowing myself to explore storytelling without judgment. Small steps toward a more authentic life. My friendships deepened during this period. Alex remained a steady presence, checking in regularly without hovering. Jamie introduced me to her wider social circle, including her brother Marcus, who shared my interest in independent films and local craft beer. I met Tara through the hiking group, and her straightforward nature and quick laugh became highlights of those Saturday excursions. These connections, freely chosen and mutually nurturing, began to redefine my understanding of what relationships could be. People could care for each other without keeping score, without conditional terms, without using affection as a reward for compliance. 3 months after the confrontation, a significant professional opportunity arose. My company was expanding its digital marketing division and needed someone to head the new team. Despite my qualifications, I nearly talked myself out of applying. Old habits of self-doubt still had strong hooks in me. "What is the worst that could happen?" Dr. Chen asked when I mentioned my hesitation. "I could fail publicly and spectacularly," I answered. "And would that be worse than not trying at all?" I applied for the position and, after 3 rounds of interviews, was offered the role. The promotion came with a substantial salary increase, more creative control, and the chance to build something new. For the first time in my career, I felt not just competent, but confident. 6 months after setting my boundary with my family, I received an email that bypassed my filters because it came from an address I did not recognize. The subject line read simply, "From your mother." My heart raced as I opened it, unsure what to expect. Another guilt trip, more accusations, perhaps another threat. Instead, I found something I had never truly received from my family, an apology. "Dear Dane," my mother wrote, "I have started this email 100 times over the past months. Each attempt felt inadequate, and perhaps this one will too, but I need to try. I am deeply sorry for the pain I have caused you. You were right about the pattern of neglect, about the unfair treatment, about the broken promises. After you left that day in the conference room, I could not stop thinking about the specific examples you gave, the birthdays we ruined, the lies we told. Seeing it all laid out so clearly forced me to confront a truth I have been avoiding for years. We have not been the parents you deserved. Your father and Sophie are still angry, still convinced you are being unreasonable. I cannot speak for them, but I have done a lot of reflection, and I can now see how our behavior must have made you feel invisible, unimportant. I miss you, Dane. I miss knowing about your life, your work, your friends. If you are willing, I would like to meet for coffee somewhere neutral. Just the two of us. No pressure, no expectations. Just a chance to begin again, with clear eyes and honest hearts. With love and regret, Mom." I read the email multiple times, searching for the manipulative undertones I had grown accustomed to detecting. I found none. Still, I approached this tentative olive branch with caution, discussing it thoroughly with Dr. Chen before deciding how to respond. "What do you want from a relationship with your mother going forward?" she asked. "Honesty," I said immediately. "Respect for my boundaries. Acknowledgement of the past, without expecting me to pretend it never happened. Those are reasonable expectations," she nodded. "And if she cannot meet them, then I continue on the path I have been building for myself." A week later, I met my mother at a coffee shop halfway between my apartment and her hotel. She had come alone, as promised. She looked older than I remembered, more fragile somehow. Our conversation was awkward at first, both of us carefully avoiding landmines of resentment and guilt. Gradually, we found our way to more honest exchange. "Your father still believes you will come around eventually," she admitted. "That you will realize family is more important than pride." "This was never about pride," I said. "It was about self-preservation." She nodded slowly. "I see that now. We treated you as if your feelings did not matter, as if your time was less valuable than ours. And Sophie's," I added. "Yes," she acknowledged. "The favoritism was real, not imagined. I will not insult you by denying it." We talked for nearly 3 hours. She revealed that my father and Sophie remained entrenched in their positions, viewing my boundary as a betrayal rather than a necessary step toward health. They refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing and expected me to eventually get over it and return to the fold. "Your father has indeed changed his will," she told me. "He says you have made your choice clear." "I have," I agreed. "I chose self-respect over conditional acceptance. I still stand by that choice." As we prepared to leave, my mother asked hesitantly, "Can we do this again? Perhaps in a few weeks?" I considered the question carefully. "Yes," I finally said, "but with some conditions. I need complete honesty, even when it is uncomfortable. I need respect for my boundaries, which means no pressure to reconnect with Dad or Sophie until I am ready, if ever. And I need acknowledgement of the past, without expectations that I should just move on and forget. Those terms are fair, she said quietly. In the months that followed, my mother and I established a new, more balanced relationship. We met every other week for coffee or lunch. Our conversations became increasingly authentic, sometimes painful, but always honest. She maintained her promise not to pressure me about reconnecting with my father and sister, though she occasionally updated me on their lives. My father remained resolute in his position, convinced I would eventually see reason and apologize for my disrespect. Sophie had taken a position at the family company and, according to my mother, struggled with the actual responsibilities involved. Neither showed any interest in understanding my perspective or acknowledging their role in the estrangement, and that was okay. I had learned that I could not control their reactions or force them to treat me with the consideration I deserved. I could only control my own boundaries, my own choices, my own path forward. 1 year after setting my boundary, my life looked remarkably different. I had been promoted again at work, now leading a team of 12. I had moved to a larger apartment with a spare room I had converted into a music studio. I had formed genuine friendships based on mutual respect rather than obligation. I had even started dating again, approaching romantic relationships with a healthier understanding of what love should look like. The most profound change, however, was internal. I no longer measured my worth by my family's validation. I no longer apologized for taking up space, for having needs, for expecting basic consideration. I recognized patterns of people-pleasing in other relationships and had the courage to address them directly. I learned that true love does not require you to constantly prove your worth. It does not demand that you accept scraps of attention while watching others receive feasts. It does not punish you for naming harmful patterns or setting necessary boundaries. Sometimes, walking away from those who should love you most is the only way to find the love you truly deserve, beginning with self-love. And sometimes, the family that nurtures your spirit is not the one you were born into, but the one you carefully, intentionally build around yourself. I still maintain contact with my mother, our relationship now built on more honest foundation. I have not spoken to my father or Sophie in over a year. Perhaps someday that will change, if they can acknowledge the harm done and show genuine willingness to establish healthier patterns. Until then, I continue forward on my own path, no longer waiting for approval that was always conditionally given and could be just as conditionally withdrawn. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members who could not see your worth? Comment below with your experience and how you navigated these challenging waters. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more authentic conversations about family dynamics and personal growth. And remember, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from relationships that diminish you, even when those relationships share your blood. Thank you for listening to my story, and may you find the courage to honor your own worth in every relationship you choose to maintain.